Hey guys, it's your favorite Dynamite here, and let's actually begin here. The last time we left off, we had Cell arriving on the scene with 17 and Piccolo, just like in the original story here. Now again, keep in mind, Piccolo is still stronger in this timeline due to the fact that not only did he absorb Kami a lot earlier, but went to the hyperbolic time chamber with Rayquaza, not only mending their relationship, but actually getting Rayquaza over his more defensive attitude and get him to be a bit more, I guess you say, akin to his canon counterpart, a bit more aggressive, if you will, here. And so, at first, the fight between Cell, Piccolo, and 17 does take the same here. Piccolo and 17 both actually do coordinate their assaults a bit better and actually try to work together on this one. Instead of rushing at it one-on-one, they actually try to jump Cell. However, seeing the sheer fact that Cell himself is still canonically stronger in this timeline, albeit it's a bit more closer with him and Piccolo, and with 17 jumping in, it does prove to be a bit more troublesome than it's worth here. However, Cell is still able to defeat them both, and well, he's about to finish off Piccolo with the same move he did earlier, with pretty much a whole basically a gut blast, if you will. No diddy. However, this is where Rayquaza, at blinding speeds, mind you, kicks Cell off of Piccolo here, and pretty much is able to catch the big guy and, well, readjust his neck so that it's not broken. To which this is where Rayquaza simply puts Piccolo down and then looks at Cell. Understanding that he needs to end this situation now, this is where he puts himself between Piccolo, 17, and this imperfect Cell and begins to battle against them. And so, with that being said, how would this fight go? Well, let's talk about it. Rayquaza starts off trying to speed blitz Cell. However, Cell actually uses his tail and, well, tries to drain Rayquaza. Tries to hit him in the head with it. However, at the last minute, Rayquaza jukes him and sends a Dragon Claw straight into Cell's gut, thrashing him right into a rock here. Cell, now understanding that Rayquaza is more faster than he is here, actually tries to play it a bit more defensively and goes for a Kamehameha to create distance. However, Rayquaza once again uses a Dragon Claw to barrel through it and then just nails Cell again, causing him to, get cratered in this one. This is where he looks back to 18 and tells her to grab her brother and 16 and get out of here, though. Keep in mind, 16 is still, functional in this timeline. And, well, with that being said here, I don't think 18 would have any second guesses about it here. Instead of having her hesitant in this timeline, she goes on to, well, disappear with her brother and 16 here. And Piccolo's kind of just left there. Just, unconscious still. However, before Rayquaza turns around, he actually is able to juke one of Cell's tail strikes here and pretty much tries to go after the androids, but Rayquaza grabs him by his tail, spins him around, and slams him. This is when Rayquaza utilizes Hurricane, another move he, well, basically has here in the Pokemon games and anime, because again, remember, we're just giving him his full moveset. Except for Mega Evolution, quite obviously, right? And so he uses Hurricane to actually bar Cell from going anywhere, actually trapping him in here. And this is where he then uses Ice Beam, creating a cold wind current to cause chip damage against Cell. And so, seeing no other way around in this, Cell actually utilizes a special beam cannon and blasts at the Eye of the Storm, breaking himself out here. However, Rayquaza is nowhere to be found, except he's behind Cell and then nails him with a point-blank Dragon Pulse, blowing not only his tail off, but his wings as well here. Rayquaza then maneuvers around him over and over and over again, picking at Cell, nitpicking at him, just toying with him, if you will, here. However, this is where Cell actually senses another power level, and Rayquaza does too. It's Vegeta and Trunks who actually exit the hyperbolic time chamber and are now standing idly by here. To which Vegeta asks, "Where are the androids?" To which Rayquaza says, "They're gone," and proceeds to just thrash around Cell again like he's nothing more than a chew toy at this point here. And Vegeta says, "Then where did they go?" And to which Rayquaza stubbornly says, "Gone." Again, kind of emphasizing the point that not only does he not like Vegeta, he understands the androids are innocent here. And so Trunks tries to, reason with Rayquaza here, or tries to more or less kind of, Just ask, look, where are they? Because again, they are still a threat. To which he then kind of looks at Trunks and then kind of explains to him why this situation is kind of dumb as it is here. If they were such a threat, they would have killed you like they did in the original timeline, correct? To which Trunks thinks to himself, well, I I guess here. To which this one Rayquaza states that, considering you barely even know how time travel works, can you even trust yourself on that theory? To which Trunks then thinks to himself again, is just like, dang, he yeah, he got me on that one, huh? To which this is where Cell actually tries to use this opportunity to escape, and Rayquaza utilizes a Draco Meteor to kind of injure him a lot more now. But again, thanks to Piccolo Cells, he is able to regenerate, albeit Rayquaza is keeping him kind of underfoot with his tail in one hand and just rips it off once again here. To which Cell says, look, Vegeta, if you can help me find the androids, I could reach my perfect form, and then I could, well, give you a better fight. To which this is where Vegeta kind of thinks to himself, he's being played, but he's right. To which he then orders Rayquaza to let Cell go and find the androids. And this is where Rayquaza promptly looks Vegeta in the eye, and well, with just one hand blast towards Cell, he fires off a Dragon Pulse, this time annihilating Cell completely. And again, Vegeta is pissed about this. He says, Rayquaza, you denied him the perfect opportunity to test his strength. You denied him the perfect opportunity to show off his Saiyan pride. To which Rayquaza then simply states, the same pride that got you beaten multiple times by not only me, but by the androids themselves? What good is pride if you can barely maintain it when being in the fight? And this angers Vegeta to the point where he does turn Super Saiyan and does turn into his ascended state. To which Rayquaza says, all that muscle and you still don't know how to use it. Kind of shameful, isn't it? And again, this is where Vegeta strikes at him and then destroys the island that he, well, makes an impact on. This is because Rayquaza dodged it, and this kind of leaves the unconscious Piccolo floating in the water here. To which this is where, Vegeta states that you know nothing of my pride. And to which Rayquaza then simply laughs and folds his arms and says that I know it gets you your butt kicked from time to time. And Vegeta then just lunges at him with all this anger and rage. And Rayquaza is simply dodging it, sidestepping it, outmaneuvering it over and over again, while Trunks is able to recover Piccolo. And well, when Piccolo wakes up, he actually sees Vegeta actually fighting against Rayquaza here, or more or less swinging like an angry child, while Rayquaza simply dodges each and every attack. And it even gets so disrespectful to the point where Rayquaza just simply stands on Vegeta's head, kind of in a symbol to how Nappa, or Goku stood on Nappa's head comedically here. And so this is where Vegeta tells Rayquaza to stop playing with him and fight him like a warrior. To which this is where Rayquaza states that, why? You haven't earned it. You've been acting more like a spoiled child than an actual warrior. If you were a warrior, Vegeta, you wouldn't have let pride dictate what you do with your opponents. You wouldn't have let your pride make you so overconfident in yourself when you first achieved Super Saiyan that you would have allowed yourself to get beaten multiple times here. You would have allowed yourself to train when we first met, and maybe, just maybe, you could have possibly given me a challenge. To which Vegeta gets so annoyed and so angry that he powers up further and further, going into the, second stage of the Ascended Super Saiyan. And this is where Rayquaza is simply smiling at him because, again, this buys the androids more time to escape and, by extension, just gives Vegeta he just wants to give Vegeta a hard time, in all honesty. And it's kind of funny because, again, I do think that in a realistic sense here, Rayquaza would not like Vegeta because he would have put in the Earth in so much danger on multiple occasions. So kind of playing off of that here, no, I don't think Rayquaza would have liked Vegeta early on here. And so this kind of taunting and, well, goading to Vegeta to attack him is kind of that response I created from this here. Now back to the fight itself here. Vegeta is now preparing to charge up his final flash here. And so this is where Trunks says if he fires that at him right now at his current power level, he's going to kill him. To which this is where Piccolo states that no, it's not going to work at all. To which Trunks looks in shock, as this is where everyone finally sees Rayquaza powering up here. And so his training in through the hyperbolic time chamber is showed here, to where he charges up his own attack, a hyper beam, a black one. And so with that being said, the gold and black energies both collide and do push each other back here. They then reach a point to where it's a stalemate. And so as the fight ensues, we see a gold and black swirl actually go up in the air. It just, I guess you say, kind of resemblance of how Infernape and Electivire both created that giant fire and electrical swirl when they fought in the Sinnoh League or in the Diamond and Pearl Pokemon series, right? So that's what it basically would resemble here. We would see a black and gold tornado kind of just swirl around each other. Everyone from the lookout is able to see it, with Tien and Popo, along with Chiatsu here, all commenting that this is absolutely insane here. But yet, Tien says that, who's going to win? Who's going to give here? To which this is where the answer is pretty much shown here. Vegeta is starting to wane. The form he's using is kind of taxing a little bit here. All that strength and all that power, and yet Vegeta is using it recklessly. He used it too quickly and didn't allow it to build up. So now his energy reserves are beginning to deplete very slowly. And so Rayquaza's Hyper Beam begins to inch further and further and further here. And so we would see the black energy kind of consume the golden very slowly here. Into which Trunk actually says that he doesn't want his father to die, but what is he going to do? And this is where, when Rayquaza's Hyper Beam overtakes Vegeta, it causes a large explosion and causes Vegeta to simply just fall into the water. He would have those white eyes showing that he was defeated and would just, fall into the water. But then at the last minute, Rayquaza does catch him and does put him over his shoulder, saying that they're going back to the lookout now. And so, with that being said, when everyone returns from the lookout, Goku and Gohan do exit the hyperbolic time chamber in their mastered Super Saiyans here. And, well, they see Vegeta unconscious and, well, damaged. Probably shirtless as well here, or armless, slightly. He still has his pants and everything. No diddy. But again, obviously damaged. And Bulma looks in absolute shock, asking what happened. To which Rayquaza simply says, your husband here, or your baby daddy, if you will, here, simply got carried away and allowed his pride to plague him once again here. And so as he drops Vegeta on the ground, he simply does look at Goku, but then he looks at Gohan and is actually a bit happy with the kid that he reached Super Saiyan. However, this is where Goku pretty much tells him actually he's reached a power far beyond it, but he may need a little help getting him to control it. To which he says, yeah, okay, we can work on that eventually, but I guess you guys need to eat, right? To which they say, yeah, and so while Gohan and Goku are eating, they then ask how's everything on Earth here. To which this is where everything is now different in the timeline, with Rayquaza simply explaining that, well, he let the androids go, considering the sheer fact they haven't harmed or killed anybody and that they spared them, and that he took care of Cell as well. So this means that, well, everything goes a lot smoother than the original, right? Well, there's still one big problem. Android 16. He still wants to fight and kill Goku here. And I actually do think that 17 and 18, when they do recover, actually would likely not do this. They just had a close call against someone that wanted to absorb them. And plus, 18 realizes she doesn't want to go against Rayquaza for all the kindness he's actually done for them. And 17 even agrees about this as well here. And so this is where 16 says then he'll go after Goku on his own here. And so with that being said, how would that actually go? Well, I actually don't think it would go too well for 16 here. And I actually do see 17 and 18 kind of just trying to live their lives normally in the nearest city possible. Until, well, one day, 18 does bump into Rayquaza again, who's actually getting a custom life to Earth here. But back to 16 and Goku here, I do think considering Goku is in his more mastered Super Saiyan stage here, he does beat down 16 and does knock him unconscious because, again, that is Goku's character. And so I actually do see that Goku does take him to Bulma and, well, reprograms 16, getting rid of all the Kill Goku content, and, well, 16 just likely becomes a bodyguard at Capsule Corp here. Speaking of which, what about 17, 18, and Rayquaza at this point here? Well, long story short, I do think since they'll probably bump into each other again, and I'm actually going to have it just a moment where Rayquaza and 18 are both in the same city as each other. Rayquaza is actually living a life as a transportation man for Capsule Corp in exchange for a luxury lifestyle, and so during one of these transportations, he just bumps into 18. 18 and him decide to rekindle that little spark they had from when they first met, and so one thing leads to another, and he and 18 do have their first child. This first child being their daughter, and I am going to name her Kyogre as a reference to, well, you know, Kyogre from Pokemon. Plus, I do think Kyogre is definitely a more feminine name. And then, what about 17 here? Well, I think 17 still becomes a park ranger, however, with a bit more funding. And so, I think that 17 does meet his wife in the original timeline. But again, it is kind of funny how we never get to see 17's wife here, so we're gonna put a twist on that. Considering the sheer fact that Launch was in the woods the last time we saw her, or at least, somewhere near that remote area here, just kind of living her lifestyle here, I would actually say that 17 and Launch are the ones to get married here and do have their children as well. Now, again, we don't know 17's children here, so we know he has 2 children that are his, and then 1 that's adopted, apparently. So we'll kind of just leave those guys just up in the air for right now until I can decide names. But hey, let me know if you guys want to decide the names for 17's 3 children in the comment section down below. I would actually love it. Most likes gets the I guess you could say the children's names in these series from going on forward here, and you guys can pick the roles for his children as well here. And so, with that being said here, I do think a lot of things kind of carry on the same here. When Rayquaza does meet along with the Z Fighters again, it's met with warm, positive feelings here. Minus Vegeta, because, he and him have beef, obviously, right? And so, meeting at the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, just like in the original here, I think just about everything building up to that goes the same. Gohan still meets Videl and does teach her how to fly. However, considering the sheer fact that Gohan is, and I would probably say a lot stronger in this timeline, he doesn't have Super Saiyan 2. Not yet. Because, again, well, I don't think he would have kept up with his training that much, but I do think Rayquaza and Goku would have at the very least gotten him to that point. Now, who actually achieved Super Saiyan 2 first in this timeline? I'm actually going to say it's Goku, considering he already had a head start on Vegeta. Vegeta does get Master Super Saiyan and eventually does reach Super Saiyan 2, but again, Goku, would have gotten it first here. And Rayquaza, keeping up with his training and training alongside Goku here, would have also been able to get stronger as well here. However, I would also say he has 17 along with him as well in this timeline here, who has Launch and, well, their 3 kids here, while 18 is holding their firstborn in her arms as well here. I would actually say 17's kids are probably a bit older than Rayquaza's here. But again, it is what it is here. And so with that being said, the 23rd martial arts, excuse me, begins just like it originally does here. The first matchup is still Goten, well, the junior division I should say, kind of plays out the same here, with Goten and Trunks. And Trunks actually wins, but it's a bit more brutally than the original. Now, yes, he does have his relationship with Goten, but when it comes to combat, his mindset is a bit different here. Training with a much more angrier and angsty Vegeta in this timeline, Trunks is a bit more, I guess you could say, aggressive when it comes to combat here. This does, give him an edge over Goten, who's a bit softer in combat, or at least a bit more reserved here. But again, due to the training, I still think Trunks would be stronger, and by a decent margin as well here. But again, when he beats Goten, he actually beats him a little harder than he should, but does apologize for it here. And this does get the note of everyone, even Bulma, who's absolutely shocked about it. And so, Rayquaza is a bit more skeptical of Vegeta. The whole thing with Smopovich and Yamu still happen here, where, believe it or not, this actually plays out differently. With Gohan keeping up with his training, and I do think Videl would likely see some of the sparring contests between Goku and Rayquaza, she would want to train with them as well. So, Videl actually gets a bit of a boost in this timeline and does beat Smopovich, albeit it's a little bit difficult here, because again, Videl does not have the full grasp on key-based attacks, or basically, key training, just like unlike the original here. And so with that being said, she does manage to beat Smopovich, and well, Gohan actually gets restrained, just like in this timeline here. Now, this is because the assumption that Gohan still, is still participating in the same part as Kibito Kai, to where Smopovich and Yamu do drain him here. Considering Gohan only still has Master Super Saiyan, the energy intake is not as much as it was in the original here. And so, with that being said, when Shin and Kibito both address this situation here, they decide that, yeah, they're going to go and, well, confront Babidi and their forces here. Now, this is actually going to play a bit differently here, with the fact that, well, Goku, Vegeta, and Rayquaza are going, while Gohan actually stays with the kids here, and 17 and 18 are the ones progressing through the tournament here. And so, we get the battle between 17 and 18. Now, this is actually pretty interesting. Considering 17 is a little bit stronger than 18, this means that the matchup between the two of them would be close. But again, I would say 17 actually wins because he has a more defensive countermeasure than 18 does. So, by the skin of his teeth, he manages to knock his sister out the arena. But again, just like in the original, Hercule does bribe 17 for the money and does knock him out the arena. Well, quote, knock him out the arena here. And with that being said here, we then have to go to the stuff happening with the trio here. Goku, Vegeta, and Rayquaza. 2 Saiyans, 1 Vestroyan. And so, how does that actually go in this timeline? Let's talk about it. Well, this is actually going to be pretty simple. Goku actually starts off with Yakan, just like in the original, and does power up, showing him. And well, this does overload Yakan, and well, it's over. Right then and there. Keep in mind, considering the sheer fact that Goku does not have Super Saiyan 3, this does mean that, Vegeta's not as envious or as jealous to get Smopovich, or sorry, the Majin power boost, just like in the original here. Then we have Vegeta versus Pui Pui. That goes on just like in the original. But now we have to talk about the final fight here. We have Rayquaza versus Dabura. And so, with everyone being a lot stronger in this timeline here, it is stated that Dabura is just as strong, or if not slightly stronger than Cell. I'm not sure which form of Cell it was, but again, the last time anyone saw Cell was Super Perfect Cell, and so I would say that's a maybe, because again, we do know Super Perfect Cell was like strong enough to clash with a Super Saiyan 2 Team Gohan, and then the sheer fact that Dabura was clashing with a Gohan that was just as strong as Super Perfect Cell. So it definitely does depend, because we do know Gohan was just not at his best like he usually was. But yeah, that is it is what it is for that one here. So with that being said here, how does the fight between Rayquaza and Dabura go? Let's talk about it. The fight starts off here with Rayquaza powering up to showing that he's actually stronger than a lot of people gave him credit for. To which Goku actually smiles about this while Vegeta looks in absolute shock and then in a little bit of anger as well here. He thought he was stronger than Rayquaza, not realizing that Rayquaza got so much stronger over the years by actually training with Goku, Gohan, and even a little bit of Videl. So, with that being said here, when Rayquaza powers up here, Dabura is also in a little bit of, in a nervous state, if you will, here. And so, with that being said here, the match actually begins with Dabura trying to spit on Rayquaza here, only for Rayquaza to juke it and then land a solid knee to Dabura's bottom chin. And so, with that being said, this not only breaks Dabura's teeth, but mixes his saliva with blood so that the spit is taken care of almost immediately. And so, the rest of it is just a straight up beatdown. Dabura tries to take out his sword, Rayquaza parries it, and then launches a Dragon Claw right into his gut, causing a massive crater. Then we have the sheer fact that, at this point here, just Dabura, Dabura is trying everything he can to push back and hopefully keep Rayquaza off of him. But Rayquaza's ruthless. He's relentless. He's going in. He's speed blitzing and just overwhelming him. And so this actually leads to Dabura, when he tries to flee, Rayquaza not only uses Dragon Ascent to speed up in front of him, but lands a devastating Hyper Beam, killing Dabura here. This is where Shin is absolutely in shock here, and Vegeta is in absolute anger, as Rayquaza just gives him a sly grin. And that's where we'll leave it off here today, you guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe, and share it with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and you guys have a blessed day. Peace.